Good morning. I'm Eureka John. You're at Eureka Street Crypto, broadcasting live on 5:57 in the morning on October 27th, 2021. And this is my video blog. I do this every single morning, and I talk about something in crypto. And this is my discipline to learn something new every single day. Make sure I have something to talk about. And I think that, I can read articles, listen to podcasts, but I don't feel like I've truly learned it until I can articulate it outside myself. And then, some days I'm really honestly just like discovering this stuff live on camera as we're talking here or as I'm talking. So this is all about documenting my growth and my journey in this crypto space. I've been doing this since October 24th, 2020. So for a year and 3 days now. And this is episode 310. I've been doing this every single morning since February 6th, 2021. There was a time at the beginning between October 24th, 2020 till February 6th where I was trying to figure out how I was going to do all this, when I was going to do this, how long I was going to make episodes and all that type of stuff. And the idea was building, so I didn't broadcast consistently. But since February 6th, I kind of was like, okay, this is what I'm doing. This is going to be a morning show. I'm going to do this every day. So, I'm not shilling anything, not sponsored by anybody. I'm not your teacher. I'm not here to make educational courses or anything like that. I'm just talking about stuff I'm learning. That's it. So I could be right or wrong. And you can let me know in the comments. Lots of people do. They show me new projects or they tell me something that I said wrong or whatever. People aren't shy about stuff like that. And so that's the gist of it. Let's go over here to the old CoinGecko and see what we have going on here. Bitcoin, it actually got up to, I think, like 63,000 in the past few days, and it's down to $60,793.28. And when I say down to 60,000, that just sounds insane. I mean, so I'm pretty stoked about that. Don't forget to scoop some profits off the top if you have some. I'm not selling any Bitcoin and Ethereum. I don't sell. I just use it to do things like buy NFTs and to pay for gas for DeFi apps and stuff like that. So, but I do have like a chunk of Ethereum that I keep just purely to hold. And I even borrow against it, sometimes to do some stuff, and then I pay it back and stuff like that. And I use protocols like Aave to do that. Although now, and I talked about this yesterday, I'm not really using. There's this Greenwood Finance it's kind of an aggregator, I guess, that looks for, it bounces your loan around to find the cheapest loan rates. And, I want to use it, but they're going on Arbitrum because I asked the question, when Arbitrum? When is that app going to be on Layer 1? And here it is right here, Greenwood Finance. Borrow at the lowest rate in DeFi with no added gas costs. And it's a really cool app. And if you think about Yearn Finance, how it takes your loan and it consistently passes your loan around to a bunch of different protocols looking for the highest yield. Well, this one does kind of the same thing, but it looks around for the lowest rate, borrow rate. And it's also kind of like a 1-inch. It shops around for the lowest rates for you. It's pretty cool in that aspect, but I don't want to use it on Layer 1 because Layer 1's expensive. Layer 1 Ethereum is expensive. But it is good news is the team did confirm that in about a week here, it's going to be up on Arbitrum. So as soon as this gets up on Arbitrum, I have a good little chunk of some tokens that I cashed out right now in this bull run. And I've scooped some profits off the top. Like I said, don't forget to do that for yourself. It's why, yes, I'm in it for the tech, and I love all that stuff, but I want to get to a point where I can finance myself through all this knowledge development, and that includes taking profits off the top. But I do want to grow those profits, so I'm going to move some of those up to Layer 2 and borrow against them to do stuff. And I don't know. And I like NFT shopping. I've discovered that I do like NFT shopping. So But yeah, I don't want to do all that stuff on layer one. And so yeah, now that this is going to be on layer two, I'm pretty stoked about that. So anyway, so Binance Coins 482.82, Cardano 216. Tether's a stable coin, so yeah. Solana 202.43, back up in the twos. XRP $1.12, Polkadot 45.08, the Doge at 25 cents, the USDC stablecoin. The Sheebs, man. Oh, what's up with these meme coins? Well, you know, the funny thing is Elon Musk said that he did not like he does not hold any Shiba Inu. He said that he doesn't hold Shiba Inu, so he dropped it. He dropped that. I'm sorry, he dropped that bomb, and then Shiba Inu immediately dropped by a huge percentage right after Elon Musk tweeted that he did not hold Shiba Inu. So it just goes to show, like, you know, like, I try to get into projects that have some really good fundamentals, and then these meme coins come around, and I almost feel like, you know, I almost feel like meme coins are a psyop to kind of discredit the space. You know, you put in these meme coins, and then that gives the SEC some kind of, like, you know, justification to come in and call all cryptos bad because things like Doge and Shiba Inu are so volatile and based on nothing, you know, and they give people hopium. And then people make bad financial decisions and find themselves wrecked. And then the SEC and the regulators will come in and be like, well, I told you so. You know, so yeah. But anyway, Elon Musk said that he doesn't hold Shiba Inu, and Shiba Inu dropped by a significant portion. Although in the past 7 days, it is up again at 62.4%. So yeah, it's a wild place to be right now in the crypto market for sure. Terra 44.89, Avalanche 69.03, Chainlink has been on a tear. It's 27.5% up in the past 7 days. I'm so happy to see this. I've been a Link Marine for over a year now. I bought in like way back when it was like $1.30. It's at 32.76. You know, I've dollar cost averaged a little bit, but really I've just been sitting on some Chainlink for a while. And I'm really happy to see this. You know, of anybody that deserves to have some price appreciation for their favorite project, Chainlink Marines, I think, are definitely the ones. The people that hold on, and the Marines, the true Marines are like, you know, they're diamond-handed mofos, man. So, but, you know, Chainlink does this. It'll kind of like surf along for a while, then it'll spike up really hard, then it'll come back down about halfway, you know, and then it'll do the same pattern for a while, and I think it's doing that again. The all-time high, I think, is like $50 or something. So who knows? We might see a new all-time high. But like I said, don't forget to scoop off some profits. You know, yeah. Don't forget that. Okay. Be healthy. Okay. All right. So anyway, I guess really what I wanted to talk about today, I found a tweet, and let me go to my old Tweeter bookmarks, and it says here, big news. We've partnered up with Adobe in content I need to follow them. Let me see what's up. The Content Authenticity Initiative. I'm going to follow that. To enhance attribution of NFTs on Rarible. And now collectors can see if the wallet used to design an NFT was the same one to use to mint it as part of a content authenticity initiative. So NFTs do they do provide a hash of authenticity. So people now have digital asset ownership rights, and that's what makes NFTs unique and amazing, because it's kind of like the Magna Carta of the digital world. When Magna Carta brought in the property rights to all the serfs and the peasants and allowed them to actually own property for the first time. And I guess, I don't know, was that really the first time in history that people actually owned the property and it wasn't the property of like the emperor or something? I don't know. But either way, NFTs are kind of that, bringing actual digital ownership to digital assets, when previously we had no reason to believe that anybody owned anything digital. So let's go over here to this tiny little article on Rarible. But I'm going to get deeper into this, so don't worry. Rarible partners with Adobe to support content attribution for NFTs. 2 years ago, Adobe co-founded the Content Authenticity Initiative to combat visual misinformation and protect creators through digital provenance. Now, Adobe has released a public beta of Content Credentials, a new feature that makes it easier to protect and verify metadata, for digital content created across key Adobe Creative Cloud solutions, including Photoshop, Stock, and Behance. That includes NFTs specifically. So there's a Content Authenticity Initiative logo. Importantly, users of Photoshop desktop app can now link their social media profiles and crypto wallet addresses to their work. That way they can further assure consumers that they are indeed the creator of their content. So that's really good. We like that. To make sure that the new feature is widely available across the NFT space and collectors can see if the wallet used to create an asset was indeed the same one used to mint, Adobe partnered with Rarible as well as other key NFT marketplaces. I wonder if OpenSea is included in that to display content credentials. So here, this is what it looks like. Content credentials. So there's, so a screen you would see on Rarible, details, bids, history, and then content credentials. File name is JPEG. Crypto wallet match right there. That's the important part right there. So. And then signed by Adobe Inc., produced with Photoshop, and then you can choose to view all the credentials. So let me make sure that this shows up. Okay, that shows up on my screen. Good. Okay. All right. So adding a crypto address is therefore particularly useful if you wish to mint your work as an NFT. This address will be featured in the publicly visible content credentials metadata. Why can't I say that today? When you list this NFT on Rarible, making the attribution easier. As such, we're thrilled to have one of the Content Authenticity Initiative's 375 plus members that include major media and technology organizations like BBC, Getty Images, Microsoft, Nikon, and many others. So yeah, it's just a way to authenticate and verify your work. Like people have been trying to do this for the longest time with watermarks and all types of stuff. It's important that, artists get paid for their work. Of course, I'm sure like there will be some kind of glass ceilings and some gates in the future as all this kind of solidifies and only the big guys are allowed to create NFTs somehow. Then the underdogs come in and they figure out some way to go around it. There always is. It's that constant tension between institutions and organic people, trying to who may not have access to those institutions because institutions gate things. That's just what they do. So they say we fully support Adobe's mission to make the digital world a more open, safer place for creators and consumers alike, and we are looking forward to working together as part of the CAI to fight misinformation with attribution and verifiable truth of content. For more information, read the CAI blog. All right, so let's take just a quick look at the little Authenticityorg website, addressing misinformation through digital content provenance. Okay, so we're a community of media and tech companies, NGOs, academics, and others working to promote adoption of an open industry standard for content authenticity and provenance. Now, this is great as it applies to art. Obviously, we've seen a lot of these Snopes, fact checkers, and other misinformation type of fact checker institutions that are really, if you actually follow the money trail, paid for by the very companies that they have to fact check. And so, yeah, so, I mean, I'm not saying that this is guilty of it, but, we just always kind of need to keep an eye on all this stuff and see where it goes and, who these fact checkers are, who they're paid by. And, yeah, so, but this looks good, as far as the NFT. NFT is still in its nascent stages. I don't think that has had a chance to be corrupted by any large organizations quite yet. So sorry for my pessimistic outlook, but yeah. All right, so let's go to some more articles. There's one here. The Furry Lisa, Scott Belski, and there's an interview here with Scott Belski on how NFTs will change the creative space, and then here Photoshop will prepare as NFT option soon. So there's 3 articles here that are really good. I guess I'll read this one first here. Photoshop will get a prepare as NFT option soon. Adobe's launching a system built into Photoshop that can, among other things, help prove that the person selling an NFT is the person who made it. It's called Content Credentials, And NFT sellers will be able to link Adobe ID with their crypto wallet, allowing compatible NFT marketplaces to show a sort of verified certificate proving the art source is authentic. Now, I do have a question about this stuff because nobody has really mentioned what platform that these will be authenticated on. Is it going to be authenticated on Ethereum? Will you be connecting your Web3 wallet within Photoshop? Or are they going to be using another NFT blockchain, for instance, Wax or Flow or Tezos? Yeah. So anyway, according to a Decoder interview with Adobe's Chief Product Officer Scott Belski, CPO's Chief Product Officer, that's what his title was. I didn't want to try to guess at it a second ago. This functionality will be built into Photoshop with a prepare as NFT option, launching in preview by the end of this month. Belski says attribution data created by the content credentials will live on an IPFS system. And IPFS is Interplanetary File System. It is a decentralized way to host files, so there's no one single server. If you see a website or a social media platform such as Float.app that I'm live streaming on now on an IPFS network, it means that nobody can just go and shut down the Amazon Web Services that's hosting it and shut down that site. So it's really hard to censor something on the IPFS network. So IPFS network is a decentralized way to host files where a network of people are responsible for keeping data safe and available rather than a single company. Somewhat similar to how torrent systems work. If you're familiar with BitTorrent from way back in the college days, whenever you used to download entire movies that were pirated on BitTorrent, and before that, Napster and all that. Distributed or LimeWire, and Kazaa. Do you guys remember that? Yeah. So you'd spend like all day downloading an entire CD of ripping and pirating music on your Kazaa desktop. So anyway, Adobe says that NFT marketplaces like OpenSea, Rarible, Known Origin, and Super Rare will be able to integrate with content credentials to show Adobe's attribution information. Art theft has been a big deal in the NFT world. There have been many examples of people minting art that they didn't create or don't have the rights on the blockchain. The reason that anyone can mint an NFT, even if they don't own the copyright to the content, wait, hold on, let me read that. The reason is that anyone can mint an NFT, even if they don't own the copyright to the content. And there's not really anything the blockchain can do to stop that. So just because somebody can create an NFT doesn't mean that they necessarily have the rights to it. However, and then worse, the minting is enshrined on the blockchain, making the NFT's creation seem authentic if you're unaware of the original work. So you could make it and mint an NFT, and right now minting an NFT on Layer 1 Ethereum is pretty expensive. So if you go through all that effort and you make an NFT, then somebody else could look at that and right-click and still mint a version of that. And you're like, how safe is that? But so in other words, you could right-click on an existing image of an NFT and mint it again. So potentially fooling unaware buyers. So while Adobe's system won't prevent art theft, it does offer a way to prove that the NFT you're selling isn't stolen. Past that, it's up to buyers to decide on how much value they place on that. So you can check to see if your NFT is stolen by using this content authenticity initiative data that will be embedded in the NFT. And, it'll show who minted it. And you can see if it's the right person that minted it or not. So then even though there's really no way to prevent art theft, you can still see who actually minted it and if it's the person that should be the person that minted it. Even Belski, who gets a mention in Decoder, has been caught up by NFT scammers. One NFT collector, ironically named Pranksy, paid $300,000 for an NFT attributed to the famous street artist Belski, which was almost definitely fake. He ended up getting the money back, but there wouldn't have been as much of a fuss if Belski had digitally signed the NFT. As Adobe Scott Belski points out, Belski probably wouldn't want to link his name and Adobe ID to a crypto wallet, but the system is meant to be open source. It's possible the anonymous artist could figure out some way to provide content credentials provided by the company in charge of authenticating his work. NFTs aren't the only thing that will benefit from Adobe's content credentials, which are a result of its content authenticity initiative. The company is launching the system as a beta, and users can use it to show what edits were made to a file in Photoshop, tag their stock images on the Adobe system, and more. So in collaborative work, you can authenticate which part of the editing process. So that way, if something was a collaborative work, you're making sure that the end user does not get all the credit, because maybe some part that you have contributed to the art, maybe you did all the background work and then somebody else did the actual foreground work and the main focus of the piece, but all the background work was you. And maybe it was an elaborate background or something. And you want to make sure that you got your credit due, and then maybe any royalties due for your work on the background piece of that art. So therefore you could put in those credentials, the exact part and layers that you did. So the users can show what edits were made to a file. So what part of the edits were yours during that background work? So yeah, anyway, I just think that's pretty cool. So let's go over here to, let's see what else we have. The Rarible article, the Furry Lisa. Okay. So this is an article that Scott Belski, that chief, what was it? Chief production officer or something like that of Photoshop set, did an interview way back then, or wrote this article, on Medium. This is his blog, Scott Belski, on Medium. So the Furry Lisa, crypto art, and the new economy of digital creativity. It says, over the last year, I became the proud owner of the Furry Lisa, among several other one-of-a-kind digital creations, often referred to as crypto art or NFTs. Non-fungible tokens, a special type of cryptographic token and digital content. It'll be nice whenever we can start talking about NFTs without having to go back to the primaries and just define it every time we have to talk about it, so people can be like, oh yeah, okay, I get it. But that's not there yet. So anytime that I mention the word NFT in public, I still kind of have to define what an NFT is, and then I can start talking about it. So he says, I became the proud owner of the Furry Lisa, among several other one-of-a-kind digital creations, often referred to as crypto art or NFTs. And then he goes and defines it. But before I explain the personal significance of the Furry Lisa and break down the major players in this space and the mind-blowing broader implications, let me start with the bold proclamation. And this is his proclamation. This NFT world is likely the greatest unlock of artist opportunity in 100+ years. This isn't a suboptimal or fringe version of the real-world art economy. It is a vastly improved one. So he's making a bold statement, basically saying that in over 100 years, we have not seen any type of revolutionary development within the art space that we are seeing right now with NFTs. So whether you are an artist of any kind, investor, or consumer of anything creative, you will be impacted. But before we explore the far-reaching implications, let's understand why NFTs level up art in profound ways. So, why crypto art is greater than art? Crypto art cannot be counterfeited. The provenance is based in transaction, not spin. So in fine art world, the historical record of an artifact, past owners, fabled bidding wars, museum exhibitions, and an artist's activity are often represented by self-interested gallery owners, art buyers, and industry insiders. In contrast, the provenance of an asset, the source of truth for its storied history, is memorialized in the blockchain and can be represented by novel interfaces in all types of creative ways. And sometimes I would think in the art world, and I don't know because I'm not in the art world, but some of these pieces, even though they might not be the most amazing pieces, whatever, but they kind of have this whole like fabled story of some kind of bidding war, attached to them. Maybe two extremely wealthy people were sitting there cock-sparring, cockfighting over some piece of art that they wanted to, that they wanted to own. They didn't want, Joe Blow over there to own that. I want to own that because he's a dickhead, and I don't want him owning that piece. So I'm gonna, pay for some exorbitant amount so make sure that guy does not own this piece of art. And so from then on, afterwards, that piece of art, even if it's a terrible piece of art, has that whole bidding war story and that mythology attached to it, and that increases its value. So there's those things that we don't think about that go on with stuff, with valuations of stuff. What stories does that thing carry with it? So anyway, more transparent and a better merchandise scarcity is a point number 3 of why crypto art is greater than art. Let's face it, collectors want to know they own one of a kind, or at least something rare. Look no further than the CryptoPunk phenomenon to understand the value that real-time transparent scarcity drives. While old school fine art is littered with impossible to audit limited editions and art proofs, crypto art has solved for this. So yeah, I was showing a friend over the weekend, the whole idea of NFTs and skateboards, because, I've been trying to drive this idea to some of my friends who don't understand it, and I just showed them CryptoPunks. So I was like, just do a search for CryptoPunks. And he did a search, and he looked at the lowest valued CryptoPunk right now is valued at like $324,000, and his jaw dropped. And then, the average of them are going for several $1 million each. These just little JPEGs. So anyway, point number 4 of why crypto art is greater than art: portability and liquidity. While the fine art world often relies on luxury shippers, insurance brokers, auction houses, and expensive art advisor coordination to achieve portability and liquidity, crypto art can be transferred between owners in minutes and listed on various marketplaces simultaneously. And the same thing, with Bitcoin versus gold. How much it takes to mine gold, like physical gold, and to move it around. And people trying during war times and the Cold War, trying to move gold across borders, trying to emigrate out of a country, and they can't take their wealth with them. And that was glaringly obvious during the Jews trying to get out of Russia during communist Russia. And people were getting really creative, melting down silver and gold and platinum, and even to the point where they're putting them in the wiring of their cars, and hiding them in their cars, and people would put it in their teeth, and they would try to cross borders, and the customs officers would stop them. And there was so many creative ways that people would try to transfer gold and stuff like that out of a country that is oppressing them and trying to steal their wealth from them. Even with dollars, the Russian Jews were sitting there writing down the serial numbers of each dollar bill that they had. And then they burned them. They burned those dollar bills, and then when they got out of the country, they would go to the U.S. embassy, and then they would have that list full of dollar bills that they burned. And the U.S. embassy, because they were sympathetic towards people trying to get out of communist Russia, they looked at those serial numbers, and they reimbursed them that money that they had to burn in order to get out, so they were able to preserve their wealth in that way. But anyway, yeah, portability is an issue. And so back to crypto art versus greater than art, the whole idea of crypto art being portable and liquid is pretty cool. And then 5, 10 times more meritocracy and artist opportunity. Gone are the days of needing to be blessed by a particular art critic or granted a degree from a particular art school. Sure, signal from particular collectors and marketing by the artist still drives value, but the equal opportunity across the globe for any talented artist to mint a piece of work on a particular marketplace and be discovered as step functions more empowering. And once their work is purchased, that transaction is the ultimate signal of value for other collectors, unencumbered by industry politics and gallery affiliations. But this hasn't stopped traditional auction houses from trying to get a piece of the action. As you can see, Beeple sold in Christie's auction, or Sotheby's, or whatever, I don't know. Christie's on February 5th for $69 million. This piece right here, a JPEG of a bunch of JPEGs. He drew a picture every single day for like 13 years, and then this is the collection of all those. And sold for $69 million. So I would say, $69 million in 13 years is not too bad, not too shabby. How much did you have to claim on that, But anyway, number 6, why crypto art is greater than normal art. Transformative economic model for artists via NFT contracts. So this is my favorite. This is his favorite advantage of all: the ability for artists to automatically gain a percentage of every sale of their work for the secondary market in perpetuity. I mean, can you imagine? Artists can evolve from getting approximately 50% of an initial acquisition price of their work in the gallery to a new world where they get 80%, depending on the marketplace, of the proceeds of the initial sale, plus 10 to 15% of every secondary sale forever. So imagine if this is a person here that created this Garbage Pail Kid, Charred Chuck. If I were to trade this or sell this to somebody else, that the creator of this Garbage Pail Kid were to continue to get a royalty 10 to 15%, maybe even 20%, or whatever is programmed in off of the resale of charred Chuck here. So yeah. Okay, so, and then 7, creativity without bounds. And he says, now I'll insert my bias, but bringing more digital experiences into the fine art world unleashes an entirely new medium of creativity that fine art collecting world has never fully appreciated. Yeah. And then number 8, crypto art is made for the future. As our walls become screens and our field of vision becomes enhanced with augmented reality, we will seek precious and meaningful objects to surround us. With rather in the much anticipated metaverse, where we were going to own all these digital objects, the many digital worlds and games we frequent, or in our own living rooms and peripheral vision, this new generation of art is made for our future. So yeah, what comes next? And then they go on. I'll link this article. Okay, anyway, more highlights. Man, I'm running out of time. I'm out of time. But anyway, I didn't even get to this conversation right here, this interview right here, where he talks about more of this NFT boom, and it's a really good interview. I'll link it in the description. There's an audio version of this interview as well. Where is it? Right there. Audio interview. Adobe's Scott Belski on how NFTs will change creativity. I'm going to be listening to this on my commute home. Maybe I'll talk about this tomorrow too. But I made highlights. I read through it. But I want to read this real quick. A new stack of technology and participants will emerge. We'll see a cohort of highly curated galleries emerge, like Super Rare. We'll see other sites that simply act as sources of truth for all that's going on, or serve as open marketplace, like OpenSea, Showtime, and perhaps Behance. Might help more in a platform capacity as well from a portfolio perspective. As its 25 million members discover crypto art, we'll see the new variants and alternative blockchains, like how Flow is being used for NBA Top Shots. And we'll see plenty of picks and shovels types of companies emerge to power functionalities like magic links for payments, the Nifty Kit for independent mining access, Belski that allows big brands / creators to mint NFTs along with certain entitlements and media, and the list goes on. This is a whole era of new technology. And what he means by picks and shovels, for those of you who don't know, during the gold rush in the 1840s and stuff, a lot of people that made the most money were not really the speculators going out there to try to pan for gold and mine for gold. A lot of people that made the most money were the people waiting as people got off the train in San Francisco with the picks and shovels for sale. And there's a lot of these companies popping up now in the crypto world and digital space. So this yield will so there's a lot of companies popping up in a lot of different sectors. Like I said, with Ethereum, there's no Ethereum killer. And in the same place, there's going to be no one particular, OpenSea is not going to dominate everything. There's going to be NFT marketplaces specifically for specific niches, and different NFT platforms for specific niches, like Flow is being used for NBA Top Shots here, right? Yeah, and Super Rare, are highly curated galleries, where OpenSea is more of just kind of like, hey, here it is, here's everything. So this will yield entirely new uses for creative tools. He says, while I've committed my life to empowering creatives of all kinds, from artists and product designers to entrepreneurs, to overcome the obstacles and make ideas happening, my day job is running product at Adobe. He says, so what's the role of Adobe in the creative tool space and all this? He says, I've spent a lot of time over the past 2 months connecting with top crypto artists and learning about their workflow and challenges. Guess what? Most of them are using Photoshop and Illustrator on desktop, and some have discovered their latest iPad tablet apps like the Adobe Fresco and the newly reimagined Photoshop and Illustrator on iPad. He says, my hope is that the creative career opportunities, like selling your content and creating crypto art, among others, get better integrated into the tools over time to make these capabilities more user-friendly and accessible. I also think like companies like Adobe that make creative tools with open source initiatives like Authenticityorg can help provide attribution data into an NFT, designating who actually made it as opposed to just who minted it. This capability is noticeably missing in the new Wild West of NFTs. Digital tool makers have a responsibility to understand the new and growing needs of the world's best crypto artists. Anyway, I'll end on that note. I did not even get to the interview. But there's a lot of stuff happening. And before the end of this month, like I said, we should be seeing this being implemented in all Adobe Photoshop tools and stuff like that, the ability to export as an NFT, and what blockchain this will be connected to. But I don't know. But the fact that this is going to be a Web3 application now just shows that Web3 is taking the world by storm. You are a fool to ignore what Web3 is doing and blockchain and NFTs and all this stuff, to just write it off. I have a friend and she just refuses to. I'm so busy with Python and and Arduino. And I'm like, okay, man, I'm not trying to sell you on this stuff. Like, I'm just, you're missing the boat. You're missing the boat. So Web3, web developers, I know you may not have the bandwidth to learn a new language, but it's like, I don't have time to learn Solidity. You're like, you don't have to learn Solidity to learn about NFTs. Like, you don't get it. All right. Anyway, so whatever. Like I said, I'm not there to try to sell people that. How did I turn black and white in my camera? This camera thing really. Anyway, whatever. Oh man. Whatever. There's a hailstorm out, and I'm gonna have to try to drive to work in a hailstorm. So we'll see how that goes. I got some people coming to my work today, flying in from out of state. I gotta do the whole khaki pant dance and try to sell them commodities and stuff like that. So it'll be a fun day. Yeah. All right. I will talk to you guys tomorrow. And I have a whole list of things I need to be covering on this show. So keep sending me suggestions. I will get to them. I'm just, trying to pick away one by one at all this amazing stuff I'm discovering in the crypto space. So, yeah. All right. Well, I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye.